Hello and welcome to Bags of Action. My name is Pete and this is a 5-minute Bags of Action review of Bigger from 2018. The inspirational tale of the grandfathers of fitness as we know it, Joe and Ben Weider. Facing anti-Semitism and extreme poverty, the brothers beat all odds to build an empire and inspire future generations. If you know anything about fitness or you've ever seen a home gym, you'll probably know the name Weider, but you may not know the background story. So this biopic movie was directed by George Gallo, who's directed films like Middlemen and Double Take. It was co-written by Gallo. Now, Gallo has a much better track record as a writer than he does as a director, actually. He wrote Midnight Run, he wrote the story for Bad Boys, and he also wrote The Whole 10 Yards as well. He co-wrote this with Andy Weiss, who also co-wrote Middlemen with him, and also wrote White Boy Rick, so he seems to specialise in biopic movies. And also they co-wrote it with Brad Furman, who is actually usually a director, who directed The Lincoln Lawyer and City of Lies, so I do wonder if perhaps he was down to direct this at some point and then maybe changed his mind. So who's in the cast of this Weider biopic? You've got Tyler Hoechlin playing Joe Weider. He's the current TV Superman, and shown at my age, thinking about it, he was the son in Road to Perdition as well. Aniron Barnard, the Welsh actor, plays the brother Ben. He was also in Dunkirk and Dead in a Week or Your Money Back. Other people in the cast include Kevin Durand from Robin Hood and X-Men Origins Wolverine, Julianne Hough from Footloose and Rock of Ages, Tom Arnold from True Lies and Exit Wounds, Steve Guttenberg from Police Academy and Three Men and a Baby. And actually the story is told in flashback, so the older version of Joe Weider is played by Robert Forster, who you may know from Jackie Brown and Olympus Has Fallen, and he's telling his story to a writer played by DJ Qualls, who was also in Core, and I know him well from TV series Supernatural. So this film is a little bit different for the show, as it's a biopic rather than an out-and-out action movie. But Joe Weider helped discover Arnold Schwarzenegger, and that part of the story appealed to me in particular. Now, like all biopics, many things can be taken with a pinch of salt, and those that were there to witness what Joe Weider did either loved or hated him. And like most public figures, it's hard without first-hand knowledge to separate the man from the myth. Yes, this is billed as being about the two brothers, but it's pretty much Joe's story. Now, if you're interested in the world of fitness, bodybuilding and weightlifting, then I guess this film only really scratches the surface because it covers such a long period of time. But on the other hand, if you're watching it purely to see a true story and follow someone's life and their triumph over adversity, it also kind of falls short too. So it doesn't quite go in depth enough about the fitness empire, but it also doesn't really do enough to talk about the person. Things happen much too quickly. 1 or 2 scenes can move you 5 years or so. For example, Ben leaves to go to war, and he's back 2 scenes later. It ends up almost doing what young children do when they're recounting their day or telling you their first stories. Then this happened, then this happened, then this happened. And that makes it quite a hard watch. It also means the emotional centre of the film, the relationship between the two brothers, the prejudices they encountered, and who they really were, is kind of left as surface, and you only really get to the meat of the story in maybe the last 20 or 30 minutes or so. Julianne Hough, I think, puts in the best performance as Joe's second wife. Having said that, former teen TV star Victoria Justice, by contrast, gets little more than a cameo as his first wife. Hough does light up the screen when she's around. Hoechlin, who plays Joe, he plays him as someone who's rather blunt and whose emotions are well hidden and almost stinted. This hints at perhaps Joe Weider being on the spectrum, or being the result of a harrowing childhood, but it also makes him a hard character to latch onto as the main focus of the film. 3-time Mr. Universe winner Callum von Mosier is perfectly cast as the young Arnie, and having just listened to Arnie's autobiography, I enjoyed comparing notes on Arnie and Joe Weider's version of events when they met. That's probably the high point of this film, actually, those early Arnie moments, but they do come quite late in the movie. All in all, Bigger is okay, I suppose. It's a bit pedestrian, really. There's nothing to write home about, and there are far, far better biopics out there. I do wonder if Joe Weider's story deserved to be told in a more interesting way. It feels like such an important story about such a key figure in the history of health and fitness. I mean, so many of the things he predicted have come true. Without him, you wouldn't have the kind of world you have today around fitness. You wouldn't really have people going to the gym. You wouldn't have people kind of watching what they eat, etc. And yeah, he's a key figure, but this just was a very, very slight film. It felt like a made-for-TV kind of Sunday afternoon kind of thing. And yeah, all in all, despite some of the talent involved, this really fell short for me. And I'm going to have to give Bigger just one bag of action. It's okay, but I wouldn't rush to see it unless you're a massive fan of the source material. Have you seen Bigger already? Do you agree with my assessment of it? Feel free to comment below or get in touch with us via email, Facebook or on Twitter. We have new episodes coming out weekly alongside our full-length podcast. Don't forget to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you get notifications and never miss an episode. Bags of Action will always be free, but if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do that at our Ko-fi page.